Well, greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. You caught me doing some reading on Iowa Health Link in regards to Iowa Health and Human Services. To help pay for these services, every state must have a Medicaid state recovery program. To help pay, that means there's at least two parties. So, with two parties, there has to be an agreement. That agreement is to help pay. When you signed up for SS5, you made a like kind agreement to help pay. Social Security taken out of your paycheck to help pay for future expenses. That's what you did. Okay. So, with all the confusion going on today of HJR 192 and Public Law 73-10 and how there's no way to pay, yes, there is. And it's what I've been saying all along. You got to come to a peace agreement. You got to establish the peace agreement. If you want peace because somebody's bothering you, you make peace. How do you do that? You communicate. What's the communication? Is it a message? Is it a comment? Is it a discussion? What is it? Discuss. Is somebody cussing at you? Are you gonna discuss them? Has somebody put something on the table? Is there a mess age? Are you of age to create a mess by putting something on a table so others can feed on it and then have to clean up when you're done? Communication, a conveyance of a debt. Do you know what these terms mean? In regards to all of those, what does it mean to pay? So the link is down there. Let me make sure we pin it. And let me make sure we get that down there again. And while I take time to do that, I want to thank everybody for joining me. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you're on Hecklebus, get over to El Perro and do the same. And if you're on El Perro, get over to Hecklebus. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There's some PayPal links down in the detail sections. If you use the first one and it doesn't work, use the one on the bottom. There's one on top and one on bottom. And then everything in between is on my site links, my social sites, my site, my email. So go ahead and check those out. In the meantime, greetings, 5-Speed, Nicholas, Bohydrus, Chris, everybody welcome. We're going to get into making sure that everybody knows what's going on. And I don't know why that link isn't posting here. So there's that link. And there's that link. So let me pin that one. And we are well. Thank you. Don't understand. Okay. Link is pinned on both sites so that if you want to join the panel, feel free to do so. We're going to go over some etymology again. I keep telling people if you want to get to the roots of the problem, you got to go to the roots of the cause, the words, and the knowledge. So we are going to take a look at the term pay in etymological terms. And first, it starts out as a verb. And I hope this hits you guys square in the head as to what I've been saying for a long time. Nothing in this system matters except a peace agreement. You have to be able to come to a meeting of the minds. And if you don't know their language and how their codes work, you will never get there, ever. It takes study and it takes breaking down the words that they're using so you learn how to use them to bring the peace. You use it against them and their ignorance by educating them and bringing them to the qualified terms that they're supposed to be working under in those jobs. See, everybody's worried about their job, their job, and not the law. So when you go down to the post office, even the ones that are supposed to be promulgating all of this, we have people like Jack Talcott and the lady down here that don't know a fucking thing about how it works. So pay attention. Pay attention. Pay as a verb, circa 1200, paein, to appease, pacify, satisfy, be to the liking of. From Old French payer, to pay up, or excuse me, to pay up. Sounds like an ascension, doesn't it? 12th century modern French payer. From Latin pacere, to please, pacify, satisfy. In medieval Latin, especially, satisfy a creditor. Now you'll notice this is the time where things changed. Watch and pay attention. Literally, make peaceful. From pax, as in a pact. Genitive passus, peace. See, peace. What do you have when you have a general pact? It's an agreement. The meaning, to give what is due for goods or services, arose in medieval Latin. To satisfy a creditor, and was attested in English by early 13th century. The sense of please and pacify died out in English by 1500. Figurative sense of suffer, endure, as a punishment, etc., is first recorded late 14th century. So it changed to satisfy a creditor, and then if you didn't satisfy that creditor, it changed to a punishment. This is what we have as our penal system today. A creditor system where if you don't pay the supposed creditor, you are penalized. And it is the state that is saying they are the creditor because you have stepped up and filled out that paperwork saying you are the agent. Okay? You agreed to help pay, but in helping pay, the positions were switched. Okay? Meaning to give or render. Render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Render unto our Father which art in heaven that which belongs to our Father. In other words, to give back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to give to the Father what belongs to the Father. Very easy. Okay? That's how you pay. With little or no sense of obligation. With little or no sense of obligation. As a verb, it has little or no sense of obligation. So you're not required to do it. The requirement lays in the words and how they're constructed. Pay attention, pay respects, pay a compliment is by 1580s, meaning be remunerative, be profitable, yield a suitable return or reward, as in like ascend, is by 1812. What happened about this time, guys? This is where the laws were starting to change and it was being all corporatized, related, paid, paying. To pay up was originally mid-15th century. Make up the difference between two sums of money. The sense of pay fully or promptly is by 1911. Pay television is attested by 1957. Under definitions of 12 U.S. Code 813, we have a term called deposit. deposit. The term deposit money or deposit means the unpaid balance of money or its equivalent. Make up the difference between two sums of money. Money or its equivalent. Equivalent is the credit in the electronic system because money itself is the paper. Every piece of paper is noted as money because it has some kind of value on it. That is paper or money. That is money. And everything as in regards to money can be negotiated. I can use a Bible and it is money according to the term money. And I can use that Bible as money to bring peace. I don't need coin. I don't need anything that Caesar has. All I need is what our Father gave us, the Word. This is why I say, coin your word or purse your lips. Very succinctly. So let's get back to it. Pay as a noun, circa 1300, pay, remember up here it was pay or payen as a verb, pay as a noun, satisfaction, liking, reward, reprisal, from the pay verb, or else from French paye, payment, recompense, from payer, meaning money or other compensation. It's equivalent. Given for labor or services performed. Wages. The wages is in regards to its equivalent and its weight versus money. Is from late 14th century. In Middle English, the usual sense was satisfaction. My pay meant my liking. God's pay was God's goodwill. Now, do you see how to pay today? Like I said, you bring peace by using the scripture, proving God's goodwill. And that is Titus 3, verse 8. The King James Version of the Bible, wherein it says, this is a faithful saying. The words. I don't know what it's doing there, why it's doing this. Okay, this is a faithful saying by the words. And these things, what are nouns? Persons, places, and things. I will that thou affirm constantly. That's his will, that we affirm the words constantly. And if there's something wrong with the words, correct them right from the start. If you want peace, you must first come with peace. If you want equity, you must first come with equity. If you want truth, you must first come with truth. If you want love, you must first come with love. If you want money, give it back. Find something else. That they which have believed in God might be careful to maintain good works. This means you don't just go blatantly taking on a job as the president of the labor union of the Postal Service and fuck it off. You do your due diligence because it's not just a job. You're operating in trust. These things are good and profitable unto men. Every word of God is pure. It is a shield unto him who put their trust into God. So let's go back to pay. Entries linked or linking to pay, as we saw above, peace. So we're not going to go to that link. We're just going to, it's going to say the exact same thing here. Mid-12th century, pes, freedom from civil disorder. See, just like Paul says, we need a government. We need some kind of civil order. But it's when the slaves get all stupid and belligerent, go out in the street protesting and lighting shit on fire, that's when we got to put a stop to it. Internal peace of a nation. From Anglo-French pes, Old French pays, peace, reconciliation, silence. Did you think about somebody you missed in that silence? Please give us a moment of silence for so-and-so. Or do you just think of silence as just nothingness? That person that you might have missed and thought about in that moment of silence, does it go back in legacy to our Father which art in heaven? Did you give him some recognition, or it, whatever you want to call it? Permission. Permission. In other words, you're on the same mission. You both have the same mission. It's not a matter of giving somebody allowance to do something. It's that you agree on the same thing. You're both capable of doing the same thing. But being enslaved to the term, thinking you subjected yourself because you gave permission or somebody's asking permission. They're asking for peace. 11th century modern French pax, from Latin pacem, nominative pax, compact, agreement, treaty of peace, tranquility, absence of war. So if there already is tranquility, there's already absence of war. There's already a treaty of peace. There's already an agreement. There's already a compact. Then why are we paying? Why are we asking for peace when it's already there? From pi root peg to fasten, which is a source also of Latin pacici, to covenant or agree. See, pact. On the notion of a binding together by treaty or agreement. So if we're already bound in agreement, why are they insisting that we pay? I'm telling you, it's already prepaid. It's already in peace. It's the slaves that rise up in their unhappiness because they want, and don't understand a fucking thing of how it works, but they just demand it anyway. It replaced Old English frio, also sib, which also meant happiness. The modern spelling is from 1500s, reflecting the vowel shift. Remember that shift I told you about, medieval Latin? That's what they did. When did the English language come about? And when that English language came about, they used all lowercase, and Latin used all uppercase. In that exchange of adopting Latin terms for the English language, there was a vowel shift because there was no U. There was no certain vowel. And that's when the English language got creative and started using the various different vowels for various different sounds based on various different positions before and after other vowels and consonants. It's very artistic. From mid-13th century as friendly relations between people. The sense of spiritual peace of the heart, soul, or conscience. Freedom from disturbance by the passions. You people seem to think that I get, well, I'm not going to say you, I'm going to say a lot of people seem to think that I get get on here and I get angry. I'm not angry. It's my passion. And I express my passion so that I don't get angry anymore, because that is the disturbance of my passion. As in peace of mind. See, my peace of mind is already there. And if you think when I get passionate openly out in these public forums that I'm angry, you don't know the first thing about peace of mind and how it works. Specifically, is from circa 1200, sense of state of quiet or tranquility is by 1300. And so when I'm up here, I'm expressing myself like this, my mind is totally tranquil. What you guys are seeing through my passion and you call anger, that's on you. That's on you. Okay? As in meaning absence of cessation or cessation of war or hostility. See, I'm not at war with myself. Absence or cessation of war or hostility. So when you get rid of that, you realize there is peace and tranquility. And all you have to do is make sure you use the right treaty or agreement that's already made between the conflicting parties to refrain from further hostilities, such as denying me and my access to the services that are openly offered to everybody else. See, if it's already set out, and they make an offer of a postal service form 6387, I fill it out by making the words on it appropriate and using the proper numbering system, and I hand it to them. They deny it. Who's at war? Who's causing the war? Who's saying that there's any kind of that there's something other than a treaty agreement or something that's already in place? Who's not allowing for that? Who's not recognizing that? Using various greetings from circa 1300 from Biblical Latin, pa, and Greek erein, which were used by translators to render Hebrew shalom properly, which means safety, welfare, and prosperity. It's also as a type of hybrid tea rose. The Native American peace pipe supposedly smoked as the accompaniment of a treaty. They specifically called it a peace treaty or peace pipe because they knew it came at times when there were war and conflicts, and it took sitting down and easing the mind, even if you were hostile in mind still. There were herbal essences that God provided. Give unto a Caesar that fucking gold, and learn how to pick up the herbs and supplements that the Mother Earth provides you so you can have an ease of mind. If you're going to chase that bag, do so with an ease of mind. If you do it with an ease of mind, you're more tempted. You're more likely to get it by good means than from just going and stealing it from somebody. See, you can chase a bag and go steal it from somebody just as well as you can chase a bag and do it in the manner of Titus 3:8. Peace officer. Civil officer whose duty it is to preserve public peace. So they come and evict you as a sheriff or a peace officer, saying that you owe, that there's a debt, that there's some kind of war going on. And remember, folks, I told you those UCC forms and all of those codes, every form that's used under the commercial system is known as a battle of the forms. So again, if you're going to use those forms, you better be able to place the right words on them so they're not used offensively and offered in peace. That way, when they deny them, you can fix their problem. It's not yours if you know what you're doing. Is a test from 1714. Peace offering. Offering that procures peace or reconciliation, satisfaction offered to an offended person. So again, if they're demanding that you pay something, then there has to be an offense. Somebody has to be offended to say that you have to bring a peace agreement to them. If there's already a peace agreement, then why are you insisting on paying? Because you're caught up in your war in your head and you don't know the words? That's what I contest. And I contest that it's 98% of the population that lives like this. That's why it's when people like myself arise, it is a terrible task. We'll probably never accomplish it. But we're going to do our damnedest because it's the only thing we know. 1530s, again, that changeover. Medieval Latin phrase, peace with honor, dates to 1607. Why is it peace with honor? Is there any such thing as peace without honor? See, I think people have become disillusioned. See, honor is honor, and that's when you're able to bring peace to the table and make sure that no one gets hurt. See, an honorable king doesn't want to lose the life of one of his men. Not even one. That is honor. When you belligerently go to war and are willing to sacrifice thousands, if not millions of lives, then you are the one. You are the one that is in war. And you bring others in war with you. Coriolanus. In Coriolanus. The U.S. Peace Corps was set up March 1st, 1962. Now, is the Peace Corps part of the military? It most certainly is. Peace sign in reference to both the hand gesture and the graphics is attested in 1968. Okay, let's see here. Greetings, Channel 3. I man don't understand. Dre Vasco, Benja, Vic Cunningham, Jason C. Greetings, everybody. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Help the algorithm and the numbers. And, of course, there's some PayPal links in the details down below. If you use the top PayPal link and it doesn't work, go to the bottom of those links and use the bottom link. All is appreciated. And I don't see anybody ready to get up on panel, so we're going to go to the next one. The next one is something I've been screaming about in regards to 50 U.S.C. 4305, wherein it states full acquittance and discharge. 50 U.S.C. 4305 B2, a directive for full acquittance and discharge where no person shall be held liable in any court. Now pay attention. Mid-13th century, acquitting, repay, reciprocate, reward, or retaliate for a good or bad deed. Good or bad deed. So in war, you can retaliate for one's bad deed by doing another bad deed. Okay? If you're in peace, then you do good deeds. But if you're in peace and you're filling out battles of the forum, you're performing bad deeds. Circa 1300. As satisfy a debt. Redeem, as in a pledge. We know those registrations are a pledge of property to the state, and you have the ability to redeem it to satisfy their debt that they claim. Okay? And in redeeming it, it comes back to you, and therefore they're not holding it, and therefore they can't claim a debt. From Old French, acquitter, pay. Pay up. Pay up. To pay. Pay up. The exact same term. Pay up. Therefore, acquit is synonymous with pay. Full acquittance and discharge. Full payment and discharge. Settle a claim. When they're asking you to pay, they are making a claim. If you accept it as a claim, then pay it up. If you don't accept it as a proper claim, which it can't be, then you fix it. 12th century modern French acquitter from a to, see add, plus quite, free and clear. This is the term quiet. French is quiet. To English term, it's quiet title. Free and clear title. Okay. Quit claim title. A quit claim title. From medieval Latin, quittus. Quittus. From Latin, quittus. From free. In medieval Latin, free from war, debts, etc. Also, calm, resting. From Pi root, Proto-Indo-European, qui, to rest, be quiet. Also in part from medieval Latin, acquitere. From mid-14th century, relieve someone of an obligation. So it's full acquittance and discharge of the obligation. Release from a pledge. Hence the meanings set free from charges. Pronounced not guilty. So when you go to court, they ask you how to plead, and you say not guilty. You're pronouncing set free from charges. Okay. They don't comprehend this, but that's literally what it means. But you can't do it unless you know how to set yourself free from those charges. You can't pronounce the person not guilty unless you know how to relieve from the pledge. And discharge one's duty. That's the obligation. Discharge of obligation. Full acquittance and discharge of obligation and release of credits. Behave or conduct oneself for better or worse. Does that sound like that thing in marriage, in wedlock? For better or worse. All of which date to late 14th century. The notion in the word is to release or discharge from an obligation or from accusation, guilt, censure, or suspicion. Related, acquitted, acquitting. Also from mid-13th century. Okay, one last one to go. We're going to check in the board here. Thunder Chicken greetings. Let me see. We got Dre Vasco. Everybody's on my. Nobody's going to the heckle bus, but I got 17 likes and 4 watches. So greetings, everybody. Look within. Greetings, Dre Vasco's over there. And on El Perro, we've got a bunch of folks I already mentioned. We got 18 watching, 23 shares. Good job, folks. Keep up with the good work, and please pay attention as we go on to the next one. Like I said, it's important when they hand you their paperwork, their forms and stuff, you know how to put your words on it. It's also important to learn how to put your words on these. It's also important to learn how to do your own journal. Marking down your journey as a sojourner with him. That way they won't get confused with what belongs to Caesar and what belongs to our Father. So real quick here. Everybody, if you got it, smoke it. And we're going to get on to journal. Because journal is one of the important things, like I said, in regards to my site and establishing a foundation of who you are and letting the world know it. Because a journal isn't necessarily private. A journal is something that women write and write down their emotions about their boyfriends. But military leaders write a journal. Bankers write journals. Judges write journals. Those are all journals. That's what they're literally known as, journals. Okay? So you have to write your own book. That's what it is. Book means journal. And the etymology of book is Bible. So let's take a look at it and find out what it all means. Journal, mid-14th century, book of church services. Book of church services. So every religion has a book of their cultural activities as they relate to their higher powers, their spiritual leaders. Every religion, with the exception of the Native Americans. At that time, the Native Americans were still writing things on walls. They're still making totem poles. They're still making things that had significance. But the most important thing was they didn't have to write anything down. They were telling their stories still. They were verbalizing their stories, mouth to mouth, generation to generation. As the young children sat around with the middle-aged children, as they all sat around with their parents and their elders to listen to the eldest of the eldest. Passing it on, repeatedly telling the same stories over and over again as an inspiration to keep doing what you're doing. It works if you work it. From Anglo-French journal, from Old French journal, a day, time, a day's travel or work. From 12th century modern French journal, properly, that which takes place daily. And like I said, most women write a journal as it regards to their emotions and their relationships with boys. But everybody should write a extra journal of their life's works. Again, Titus 3:8, that they've constantly affirmed that word and passed it amongst their brethren so that they too could hear that message and be in peace. Instead, we go around accusing everybody of this and that. Noun use of adjective meaning. It's a noun use of an adjective meaning. Daily, of the day, from late Latin, diurnalis, daily. From Latin, dies, day. From Pyrute, diu, to shine. Why do you think we call it a day? Because the sun shines. Do we call it a night? No, we call it a day, and a day has a night. The yin and the yang of the full day. The good and the bad. The meaning, book for inventories and daily accounts, is from late 15th century when they started doing all the creditor accounts. In English, 14th century in French, that of personal diary is circa 1600. Also from a sense developed in French. Meaning daily publication is from 1728. This is when it came to be a news outlet. Benjamin Franklin and all that nice stuff with the printing press. Now they could daily publish it daily. Okay. Classical Latin used diurnus for of the day by day. And also as a noun, account book, day book, account book. Day book. Initial D in Latin usually means in French, remains in French, but according to Brackett, when it is followed by an IU, the I becomes consonantized as a J. Okay. So that becomes consonantized. The consonant and the vowel together become consonantized, and it's a contraction. It contracts the word. Okay. And eventually ejects the D. He also cites Jusk from Diusk, also from mid-14th century. So I hope everybody catches on. I don't think I'm wrong. Everywhere I look, it tells me the exact same thing I've been trying to tell you. Learn how to bring peace, because that's the only way you're going to get it. And if it's already there, show them where it's at. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking to see if you know what peace is. They're looking to see if you know what pay means. I have no way to pay except for this. Are you willing to accept my terms as they are already in the words? Because I'll give you some real simple words and I can show you the origins of each and every one. Matter of fact, I don't even have to. You can look them up yourself. It's that easy with this internet today. You don't have to have a specialized book. You can just punch in the term that you're looking for and then put etymology behind it. And this magical device will tell you exactly what you're looking for. And it'll give you multiple sources you can look at. So you can still discern even deeper what it is you're really looking for and what you're really looking at. So think about this stuff. Remember, folks, I love you. I don't give a shit whether you love me back or not. So God bless. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. I got some Matchbox inventory I got to get to. See you later.